And I call to order, and we have a quorum for our Shade Tree Commission meeting for April 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m., give or take. So we have established a quorum, approval of March 2022 minutes that M. Bonner had done. Everybody looked at it?
Yep,
I didn't see that.
Great.
I did, so I
Yeah.
can vote to approve.
Okay. To
Anybody want a
accept,
second?
second,
Okay, good.
thank you. All vote and aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Great, thank you. Title 33, tree permits, right-of-way permits, or anything like that. There's no items for discussion, though it's really important to remind people that if there's trees that they're thinking about removing and they're near a street, make sure you call the city, because it may be a city street tree. Thank you. We learned about those in Uptown.
You know, and somebody was telling me that in Marietta, that every tree in the city is under protection of the city. Sorry about that.
It's a nice ringtone.
Yeah. So, like every tree?
Uh-huh. I don't know whether that's something that we might want to think about or consider. I don't know what problem that will cause us
Yeah.
or what gains we might get from that. But if we're trying to increase the number of trees in the city, that's another way we could do it.
Right.
I can't imagine, did I understand that right? They do every single tree in the city, even if it's on private property? Okay, the only ones that I know of are like California, where if you get to a certain girth or a height, then they
This is
become
Marietta,
protected.
Ohio.
But Marietta, Ohio, I guess I would question whether it's
Well, maybe,
every tree.
yeah, look into it. And
Yeah, I don't know that the city has any jurisdiction over the private properties, but it's interesting.
so, okay. Any other questions about that? Okay. We have a Title 37 landscape ordinance issues. We have 2 pollinator yard permits for review. Thank you.
And actually, if it's okay, I did look at them, and so did David, so I approved.
Great.
But feel free, and by the way, one of them is Nancy, so if you have questions, she's right here.
Thank you. It's exciting that more and more are coming in, so have
I
people.
agree. Can we get everybody to look at the designs that
Yeah.
that David's shop made?
Do we want to vote on those tonight?
That would be, I mean,
If you like, yes.
yeah.
So,
Or if you don't like them, we'll keep looking.
no, the perfect is always not necessarily, I don't know his password.
Oh, you have to call it back up again.
I thought
So
this was yours.
No. So, there's been.
I won't look.
There's been several pictures shown for our pollinator front yard sign, so,
So
yeah.
nice.
So if we want to look at them tonight and feel if we want to vote on one, so,
it'd be nice if we could move forward on the signs soon. I think it'd be great advertising.
okay, thank you. So, there's like 4. Do we want to?
Have there been any more people sign up?
3 altogether to date. I think we have 3 permits for the pollinator yard.
Great.
Whatever design you do, I would just suggest, though, that maybe you have a contact on there, so that way if people are interested, they can find out more information about the pollinator
Yeah,
program and then also contact.
yeah. I think that we could put the
Idea, yeah.
Bee City USA contact on it too. And then either us or the code department, like where they can go and find the permit and stuff, so,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Pass these down.
so.
I'm partial to the
You guys
bees.
saw 'em?
I don't know about you guys, but I like the
The
bees.
I like the bees too.
Do you prefer the one, with the bee where it's just on its own little hexagon, or where it has the 3 hexagons and it's spinning around the place?
Which one?
I think this one looks this one looks a little fierce. This one looks more
That's
friendly.
true. What's the date?
Yeah.
Or-
The one with the 3.
Right?
How does everybody like that one? Is that one okay?
I like that one.
You two applied, right?
Yes.
So you should have
You say, right?
I like that one.
I'd hang that sign.
I think that it has a lot of potential too
Yeah.
for further.
And maybe just say
promote
call, if you want to join us, call.
Yeah,
such and
or
such.
for more information.
Yep, I'll add that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, go with this and maybe shoot us another email.
I can do that, yep. And if you guys approve it, we'll make that addition. If you approve it, if it's okay with you, I'll order 10 signs, and those will include the metal H hangers as well. And we'll get those ordered and into the city as quick as we can.
Do we need metal H hangers? Don't we all have them? All our cards and our signs, yard signs.
I've got someone to donate.
I know, we have a million of them. So why don't we maybe vote to approve one of them?
Okay, I would nominate the one with the 3 hexagons where the bee is buzzing around the place. I think
like
that's
that.
really
I
cute.
agree too. Me too.
So, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Do we have a second? Okay, good enough.
We're not voting.
Oh, okay.
Non-voting folk down here.
Oh,
You
okay.
can vote.
I can't.
You
can I?
can.
Can
Oh,
you?
for that you can vote.
I do like the big-eyed bee too, though. I like
Okay.
either one of them.
Cool. Well, that's good. Now we also
I'll
have
do
a
a final
sign.
draft and send it to you for approval, and then I'll order those.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
That's very exciting.
Maybe a flower on
Oh,
it?
no, I didn't do that.
the only thing I can think of.
Do that. Okay. Maintenance of tree canopy, no items for discussion. New business. There is the Zanesville Tree City event, which is on May 6th. So can you say what, like, does the city pay the,
The city would be willing to pay the fees for that if you wanted to go to it. And if you want to carpool, I would suggest you also would submit your travel time for that. So, and we would be, the city would be more than happy to have you attend that. So we would be willing to pay for those,
Right.
for that event.
so who do you want to coordinate that? Who should people get in touch with?
Let me know as soon as possible if you're going to attend, and I'll fill out the applications for you. Or if you want to do it yourself, you could do that and then ask for reimbursement afterwards. However you'd like to do it.
Well, who's
Okay.
planning on going?
Yeah, I've sent my money in, and I've got something back. It looks more like a bill than a receipt, but I guess it's a
That'll work.
receipt.
If you want to do that, just keep your receipts, and we'll reimburse you for that. Or like I said, if you want, we'll go ahead and do the application for you.
So who besides Nancy is going?
I'm out of town.
So am I. So, okay, Nancy, it sounds like you're our rep for this one.
Yeah. So keep your receipts and you give them to me, and I will follow up with you, Nancy. Okay?
You know, all my gas bills.
Throw your AEP,
The
AEP
city
bill
does
in there,
mileage
too.
reimbursement.
Throw your AEP bill in there too.
Right. Okay. So public education, something that came up with the person that we went and talked and saw the seminar with, and other things that have come up, discussion with this, is that I think that we may want to start a discussion about what we want to see as public education from this group. Some of my thoughts have been things like doing videos and such like that. There are probably a lot of score of several things, and so I thought that maybe we can go and start looking at stuff that works really well, where we would have to find source material, like for the video sort of like Wistendal video that people have done and some of the other things. So I'd kind of like to open it up for a little brainstorming. What did
One
people
of the
think?
things that the city wants to do is they want to plant trees, right, in people's yards or in the right-of-way next to people's yards. And one of the interesting things that, Rachel said from Cincinnati is that it really is better if people opt in rather than opt out. So when the presentation was made by the city, we were told, that the city would identify places and then ask the people if they were willing to have a tree there. And what Rachel said is that at least in their area, it worked a lot better for the opt-in. So people said, yes, I want a tree. But the other thing is that she said that educating them about how to maintain their tree was really important. So I think that one of our priorities, if the city is serious about planting trees in the fall, that we need to get some educational materials out there pretty
I think
quickly.
besides that, we need to let them know why it's important, what trees do for people. What the benefits are, so they have some sense of what it is they're saying they want. I don't know that people see it as important, other than they cause leaves to fall and they sometimes fall on your house.
Yeah.
So
True.
changing that to
I
a more
think-
positive picture.
I agree, and also maybe explaining what the different trees do. What does a small versus a medium versus a large versus vase shape versus, shade, That way they would be more informed when they help the city decide what trees they want in their yard, and will understand why maybe we're going to push natives and other trees. So
It's probably true, I think, to keep it simple, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But there are
So
really
like-
good materials out there already.
Well, and that's the other thing is gathering those potential materials and working with like Ryan and Scott to be able to put it on. I'd like to see some videos on upkeep and removing invasives. Like, what do you do when your tree is filled with ivy? So those sort of things. And so kind
Maybe
of.
we could even post it on the city site
Yeah.
for people to look at.
And while we can make some of these videos, I mean, Extension has a lot
Right.
of these videos. So I would like to maybe use some materials that have already been, vetted.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
David, is it possible to find out if the city is serious about moving forward with this plan for planting trees this year?
Yes, I can find out.
Okay, good, because it would just be nice for us to know. And also, if they're going to focus on a particular neighborhood, because certain trees would be more appropriate for certain neighborhoods, too, that would help guide us.
Yeah.
But I think that anytime we need to include pamphlets and those sort of things too, when we go and plant trees, ask people for trees, give trees away at the farmer's market and so.
Agree, but also make sure that all these materials are online.
Yes.
Which, so far, the Shade Tree Commission site is actually, I think, pretty thorough. I know that you're a little bit behind on the code site just because of your lack of resources right now. But it would be nice if maybe we could work together this summer and just make sure that, the websites get back up and running.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Happy to help.
I don't know whether
went
it'd
on
be
a-
worth it or not to have some sort of something in the community center, like some sort of invitation to people to come who are interested. That might be another way to
Or the
reach
public
people.
library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As talks there. I went on a walk and talk through the campus with Rachel and also Susan Calhoun. And so she shared a lot just
Yeah.
informally. And I was impressed with her. She was really emphatic about community engagement, getting people to help with the tasks. Tree planting, or if there's a tree inventory, recruit and train. So I was impressed with that. Get people to help, and they can learn and get involved and so forth. So
Right.
Yeah, I thought that she was great, and thanks for taking her on the tour. She said it was a highlight.
yeah, it was very enjoyable.
I was hoping for some practical things, and that's I was sort of disappointed, but I really liked her. And the things I've noticed in Columbus, the changes that have resulted from her influence, I think are really important and valuable.
Yeah, she shared her career path too, and her work in helping young people know about these kinds of jobs that they can work into, and how she began. She shared a career path, which is very interesting as well. Another education. Part.
Well, the nice thing too is that she said she's really busy, but she might be able to make time to come back because she realized that we were beginning to work on a tree plan.
She said she wanted to come and to hike the trails around.
Nice.
And so forth. So
Yeah.
she was very interested in the ridges, so I gave her some resources on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. It was a
fun.
very good
It
resource.
was really nice.
So,
I'm sure
okay.
other people have ideas, but I think that I would sort of
right.
push to, maybe do the tree planting and maintenance at first
Right.
in alignment.
Okay, so I think what we need to do is see what kind of resources are there, what specifically needs to happen from, like putting them online and stuff from Scott and Ryan. What do they need? And then other areas that maybe need to be addressed, like some of the written ones and stuff. Okay,
She could.
so, okay,
Did she?
thanks.
She's got hers.
Okay. Any other schedule, like talks on that? I think that that is going to be an ongoing discussion also, because right now we don't have a lot of stuff that's going on until maybe in the fall with official tree planting and such right now. 'Cause
When is our Arbor Day here?
our Arbor Day is going to be in the fall, so,
Is it November?
Do we know the date? yet?
no, we don't know the date.
It's fall.
We'll have it sometime in the fall.
Who's setting it? Is it,
It will be us, so Athens and the tree
no, I
people.
mean, who's setting the date?
I don't know. Who's going to set the date? David will set the date.
I believe.
The mayor will set the date.
It's a proclamation.
Yeah.
It's a proclamation. The mayor will set the date.
And I guess the only reminder is if we're going to pull trees out of the tree bank, we have to give Menards about 6 to 8 weeks in advance
Okay.
notice for the trees.
Okay. Well, and that, I think that maybe other discussion about some of the public education can also come from, I'd like to, at one point, look at the comprehensive plan with all of you and see what it says about trees and stuff, and so we can also make some priorities. So we'll probably do that next time. Are you ready for that too, David? Okay, great. I think this also works into the crowdsourcing agenda item. I was hoping that Rob Delac was going to be here. He's never going to be able to be here because he has 2 other meetings on this evening. But they have come, and that pulls right into with Rachel's discussion about the using of certain platforms to gain more education and more inventory data about our trees. Mary Reed, who was here a month ago, and Rob Delac have been looking at doing various crowdsourcing inventorying of trees, tree needs, sad trees that need help, those sort of things. And then with Rachel, we started talking about iTrees, and then somebody else was saying that, maybe the city app would be really good for that sort of thing. And so I think that maybe exploring what makes the most sense and what to go forward with in this. So what do you think with the city app?
I will just point out that Paul Logue, a few years ago, had a student intern, and they used, I think it's iMap or iTree, to generate a canopy for the city of Athens. And I don't know if that's been updated or what the current status of it is. I know there was some information in the master plan, the annual master plan that Paul did a couple of years ago. So we may want to check with him to see if he has any additional information for us.
Okay.
You bring up a good point. There's a distinction. There's canopy and then there's tree survey. And I think that we need to decide what we need in what priority order. The canopy can be done by like Google Earth and other GIS mechanisms, whereas, the tree survey is more like crowdsourcing. So I guess the discussion might be, what do we value in what order?
Well, we talked about trying to be, equity, I think is one of the main things that we're looking for. And we can't do that unless we're looking at individual spaces.
Yeah, but that's different. So you can look at tree canopy by using satellite data looking down, and you can look at various neighborhoods. But when you do that, you only see green. You know it's a tree, but you don't know what tree it is. And
Right,
from that, you're able to estimate your canopy, right? But then the question becomes,
What are those trees?
well,
Exactly.
and that comes in, and what Rachel said is that for their area, that was not important at the time. They needed to know canopy because it was canopy maintenance that they were worried about. Now, when they replace the trees in order to maintain the canopy, they are definitely selecting certain types of trees. But what they decided with their limited resources, that they were not going to do a tree survey initially.
Well, and in time too is part of it. I mean, the
Oh, yeah,
canopy is much easier to do than.
exactly. It is much
So we might
easier.
start with that, and then when we're satisfied that we've got the place covered pretty equally.
Well, if that's maybe the way that we want to go, Glenn Matlack, who's in P-Bio, plant biology, actually has a student, and they were going to do a canopy project.
Yes, they're.
So they talked about that, and so that might make sense to reach out to Glenn. Now, David, I don't know how important a canopy survey is to the city, but if it is important, would the city have a small amount of money to fund a student to work on the project for a semester, do you think?
We could certainly ask, yeah. Yeah, I think we've got some funds set aside for student interns that have not been filled yet.
Well,
And
and-
especially as students are going to be off, as there'll be some of them will be graduating or having the summer off, that we may have some students that would have some time and desire to come and do this.
Well, I mean, do you have money for the summer? Because I would be happy to reach out to Glenn just to find out what are they doing and if they might have a student available.
I could certainly
No?
check. I couldn't promise, but I could certainly check.
Oh,
You know Glenn, who's Glenn? He's my husband.
oh my gosh! No idea that I did not make the connection. She's looking at me going,
I know.
now, honey,
I know
no.
what he's doing.
I feel like we have an inside person.
True.
Sorry, Chris, no
Yeah.
idea.
So one of the things is he has a PhD student who is starting to look at this stuff. So that's awesome, but it's going to be a little more longer term.
Gotcha.
Though there has been some tree canopy work in the past.
Yes.
That I'm still waiting for somebody to send me the super secret password. Of, like from a certain time ago, which would be very
Was that the
interesting.
90s? The
Yes.
survey in the 90s, yeah.
Though, with a lot of having a student come in could be a work study student too, because we can have a work study student work with us
Yeah.
through the community, whatever they call that,
Service
communities.
something, yeah.
That's right. So we can also do that. I think one of the things, like with what Rob and Mary were looking at with the crowdsourcing, it'd be able to coalesce pretty well. I think that the eye trees, I know other people who've used that. I don't know, if we decided to do some kind of platform like that, or whether our city app would be able to do that too. So I think that's something that we need maybe to get some people in to give maybe some.
Well, Jim, do you have any students that you can think of that might be? I mean, it doesn't have to be somebody.
Or the Voinovich School would be the logical place, and environmental studies, reaching out to Jeff DeBelco or to the GIS group.
Well, there's quite a few of them in geography as well.
Yeah,
So it
that's
might be
true.
worth asking. I don't know anybody off the top of my head, but there might be some people.
Could you ask around though and see if maybe there is somebody for the summer, and then we could maybe bring a proposal to the city to see
Well,
if they
if they
could
have work
fund?
study, then we can also, and they're free to us.
Yeah, work study,
Goes
but
through the
it's for
community.
summer is hard though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a
I'd need
possibility.
little more, what are we asking them to do?
Like a job description?
Yeah.
I think to do a canopy survey
Yeah.
of the city of Athens using GIS and Google Earth.
Okay. I know who to ask.
They don't keep it secret.
Yeah, and ask them for the password.
If they need pictures, they can go to Glenn.
So it's just percent canopy cover.
Yeah, I think that if we, know our percent canopy cover, and if we can track that, and then we're really careful about and intentional about the types of trees that we replace or that we plant, I think that that would do a lot of good.
What kind of resolution does it need to be? Because there's a National Land Cover data set that's 30-meter resolution.
I am sure
And
that
it
if
offers
somebody
percent canopy.
Googles, canopy, surveys, they're probably going to be able to find some standard protocol somewhere.
No, what I'm saying is there are, you
Right,
can already
the-
get for the
whether-
entire US
Yes.
canopy cover.
Calculate.
Yeah, and
Whether
what,
30 meters is going to be a good enough resolution.
Pretty impressive.
I'm not sure what the
A
latest,
little scary.
what they have
yeah, but
with the latest. We might be able to get, I don't know, 30 meters? That could work for canopy.
I would think so, but I've got to think that there has
Okay.
got to be
Yeah.
protocols out there that say what resolution you use in order to do a good estimate. And then, of course, you'd work with Google Earth knowing that the resolution for Athens County is not as good as some other places.
Yeah, actually, the
Your front yard.
Buckeye Hills probably has a lot of that information too. So they have a nice layer, they have a nice GIS people over there that have pretty good layers, also with the auditor.
Also, I think, Nancy's point about equity, just looking at certain neighborhoods and understanding, where are we doing well and where are we failing.
Right. Well, and that one, then we can talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, so do we feel like we know, kind of going forward, some of the stuff that we're going to do just to start off?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. What's the next thing on our list? Yes, thank you.
Now we're to old business.
Yes, old business. Okay, Athens Beautification Day is happening. Because of discussion last month, we decided to maybe make everything for the tree and the Arbor Day celebration in the fall.
Okay, when is Athens Beautification Day?
It's all month.
Okay.
They're doing
Yeah,
things
wha-
all month.
Yeah, wasn't Sam, though, going to have a group of,
Yes. And that, yes, they are out at the farmer's market.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they're going to be giving some trees away.
Oh,
and
okay, so that's what they decided to do.
Yes, all
Cool.
baby trees. It would be good to, I don't know, we don't have a pamphlet. We need to make a pamphlet for tree activity in the city so that we can give it out to those sort of things.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah, so we don't have a graphic designer in town, in the city employment, do we? No, we didn't think so. I can just ask my kid. It's like, one of our kids probably knows how to do that. But I think it would be good so that when they're going and doing the tree giveaway, they can give
Is getting rid of
pamphlets.
trash and stuff part of the beautification?
They're doing all sorts of stuff. I'm not sure.
I guess what I have a personal need to get rid of some batteries, and I'm just trying to figure out, when are we
Oh.
having one of those things where you throw all
We
that
are,
other stuff away?
next week is
think
throw
it's next
everything that
week.
you can away.
Is it?
I think it's next week.
When are we going to have like a
The dangerous
hazardous,
things, yeah.
toxic?
There is a plan for the county to do that the city participates in the summer. I think it's May or June. I can get you the exact
Yeah, the
date.
batteries are separate.
Hold your batteries, but you can give all your other stuff away next week.
When is it?
There'll probably be one in May or June
May or June?
For batteries.
for batteries.
But just general stuff to put out is next week.
Right, I know that,
Okay.
but I wasn't sure what to do with the toxic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Athens Spring Cleanup. That's the 18th to the 22nd, I believe. That if you do have some material that you'd like to dispose of, we have that's just regular solid waste. We do have a dumpster at the city garage on West State Street, I believe, that you can drop stuff off there
Like-
at no charge.
Large things. Yes, thank you. Cool.
What month is that? 18 to 22nd of what?
Next week.
Next week.
I was actually
Okay.
Get rid of anything.
Yes.
Within reason.
I want to bring that
Strip it
up.
down and
We still don't have somebody from
I didn't say
landscaping
that.
here.
Okay. So work with Arbor Day Committee. So we're kind of done with the Athens Beautification Day.
If
We
I
will-
could just add, there's a river sweep on the 16th.
Oh, okay.
And we help with the Fern Alley cleanup, and that's on the 23rd. So those are both coming up really soon.
Oh, cool.
Is somebody from Arbor Day Committee going to join us here as a member? Or-
Not tonight.
Huh?
So, not tonight.
Not
So,
tonight, I
not-
don't mean tonight, I mean,
Are
Oh,
we
you
going
mean
to
like
try
as
and
a
recruit
board person?
somebody?
There'll be a liaison, yes. There'll be between the, like Mary and I will be liaisoning between.
Good.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
I thought we were going to have somebody on our committee, that,
Well,
on the commission, that was part of the committee.
right. Whether they have somebody who wants to be on full-time, we were thinking in the beginning it might be a little more loose.
I'm sorry.
A little looser
Okay.
and,
In the future, they're going to try and recruit somebody. Until then, we're just going to have an affiliation.
Informal.
okay. So since we're talking about that, this is the,
Why?
our memorandum of understanding and working with the community group that has been out in the community for a long time, the Athens Arbor Day Committee. And so Mary Reed and I, who've been here, we put a rough draft together of kind of putting it together and guiding principles of what we'd like to go forward with doing with the AADC. So a lot of it was kind of what Rachel was talking about at her seminar. So basically, the guiding principles for working together is that we're supportive in the roles of planting trees. That's their role of getting people engaged, and our role to make that happen, sort of thing. And so the AADC will recruit, organize, and train community volunteers for us. And our part will be to work with them to make planting locations, working with them to identify planting locations and sites, and that we make it happen by having a tree planting program sort of thing and having money available for this tree planting process. Basically, it will be twice a year, fall and the spring. And one of the biggest things that was really important to put in is recognizing being committed to promoting equity through tree plantings and programming, cognizant of geographic, social, economic, demographic, cultural, physical ability, and population density realities. So we are striving, just like other things in the city that we have talked about for the last few years, of making sure that when we do tree planting, that we are looking at it from an equity and a fairness point of view. And so,
Point of clarification, when you say we're going to make it happen, the tree commission, does that mean that we're going to find somebody to give us some money to do it?
that could be it, yeah. Well, right now, the city is giving us some money. But one of the things that can happen is that when we put in our Tree City USA grant, not grant, application, there are grants that can be associated with this that we can apply for then. And so we'll be looking into those. And if we get, there's no reason why we couldn't look at and going and applying for certain grants that could help us do this even more.
Okay,
My only
my worry is what happens after the thing is planted. You know,
the maintenance.
planting of it, and then who takes care of the little
Right.
character after it's been planted in the ground.
Right.
Is the city willing to help out with that, or?
Yeah, and that is the agreement that's gone between. Basically, you can look at them as our city engagement liaison. They're going to get the people out there, and they're going to help find people to do those plantings. And we will be responsible for helping with finding trees, finding locations, deciding what type of trees, and then going forward, maintaining them, because they will be in the city right away.
That's good.
I
like
guess,
that. It's easy, the good part is helping design where they put on the trees, that part we like to do. It's the follow-up part.
I would just,
Watering it in
so-
90-degree weather.
Chris, the page that you sent us has been reviewed by legal, which is great. It's not as extensive as what you've just said. I think it's more simplistic. I would encourage everybody to read it. She sent it to us just before the meeting. One thing that is important to remember, and I just want to say it because Catherine Ann is very adamant about this, is that Shade Tree makes recommendations to the city. At that point, the city makes the decisions whether or not to plant, to maintain, et cetera. So,
What we
what
need to know
this-
is what the likelihood that they're going to say yes.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't think the city is going to work with the Athens Arbor Day people and plant more trees than they can take care of.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then there also is an opportunity for some of the things that like Rachel was talking about, of tree tenders and those sort of things. That's a possibility to expand volunteer possibilities. And the Arbor Day people would be a really good source to help, to get those volunteers and to train them. So we'll do baby steps and then go out from there.
Now, one thing I would say, David, we have talked a couple of meetings, so I'll shout it out now. There's supposed to be somebody from landscape here at these meetings. It's not your responsibility to bring them here, but at some point,
I will pass that along.
yes, thank you.
Okay. So everybody, if you can please review that and let me know any updates or
Chris, I
drafts.
didn't have any suggestions. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I read it this evening,
Okay.
thought it was
Well,
good.
we can, Dave.
Yeah, as part of the old business working with the Athens Arbor Day Committee, I think we suggested, just so you know, that we go ahead and locate those trees where they have a plan, and then I can go out with the Engineering Public Works Department to make sure that there aren't in the way of utilities or there aren't any other issues with that. So if we could just flag those, I'll make sure that we get out and review them and make a recommendation back to you of where we think, or if there are any issues with those locations.
Right.
Point of clarification, are we using younger trees that Arbor Day tends to use, or are we talking about using the tree bank trees? And the reason why I'm asking is, one, we got to get them out of the tree bank, which would be great, want to use them, but two, they're bigger and more expensive to put in the ground, so.
It was my understanding that it would be the same type of trees that the Athens Arbor Day Committee typically plants. Those are going to be smaller in size, so you won't get this big impact all at once. But those trees, if you plant smaller trees, they'll grow faster. And in 5 years, you end up with almost the same size tree as if you planted one 2 inch
size are they?
diameter. So, yeah, I don't know.
They're
Like
half
the one-
inch, aren't they, half an inch?
I don't.
The ones that we
They
did
weren't
along
whips.
West.
They were bigger than whips, but
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are the places that they typically plant, are they more public areas instead
Yeah,
of?
and for this project, they wanted to plant around the bus stations, the bus
Right.
shelter stations. And there are some of those that are solar panel, so you don't want to plant around those. But the other ones that don't have the solar panels on top, they've got some locations that they would like those to go. And then we'll look for utility issues, line of sight problems with traffic, more on the safety
It
side
wasn't
of it.
station, wasn't it? Wasn't it bus stops?
Bus
Sorry?
stops, yeah.
Yeah.
Bus stops.
Let's stop.
So Chris, did they give you did the city give you a budget for that yet?
We
Or
have a
is it-
budget of $3,000.
So
For
that.
the year,
for the year.
For that project,
For
not
tree planting.
for planting the trees at West State Street? Because the mayor wants that to happen and he offered up $5,000 for that.
I don't think that, I'm not sure that cost us anything, because we got for West State Street, we got those trees from Menards, and then I think our staff planted them.
Joshua Tree was supposed to,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we weren't supposed to, but that was last year, but they wanted to do basically
More
the
this
same
year,
number.
okay. I heard $3,000. I can check for you
Yeah.
and see what.
Yeah, I
the
just want to
actual
make
amount
sure
is.
that the projects have separate budgets. And that's maybe an Andrew question,
Okay.
because we can't not plant West State.
Right, yeah.
So we just need more money. Find us money. Trees are important.
I know. So true. Okay. Any other questions about the Arbor Day? So, I will put this in front of Mary, and then we will be able to sign it and then work on all these sort of programs together. I think it's very exciting. It's a good start.
When do you think we should get started on doing something more specific?
Like education or
Some of
something?
the hearts thing you were talking about.
Right. Well, I think that we can do different things. What I would like to do is to maybe coordinate it so that we can have a lot of bang for our buck during the fall planting, especially. And then see some of the things that we can do with pamphlets and television, whatever, AV. Sort of thing with the government channel, of putting some of those educational things on too. And the heart, that, I think that would be a really good thing to be able to start with in the fall with the students too.
It sounds like we have 3 different tree planting programs. So we have the bus stops, we have West State, which are the bigger trees, but then we also have trees on, next to, in neighborhoods. So 3 different projects, 3 different budgets. We probably need to have the proper city representatives to come maybe to the next meeting or the meeting after that to hash out these budgets and these plans. Is that something that you can help
I will
us
follow up on
arrange?
that, yes.
Okay, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Tree City application update. Catherine and I went and talked with Andrew Cheeky about the process. So we will be taking, the head will be the coordinators of it. So most of it is in the fall, so we put some of it off. But I think that realizing that there are the different things that you have to do in order to be a tree city. And I think one of the big things is spending at least $2 a person, and that will also influence our budget.
$2 per person, can you explain?
In order to be a tree city, you have to have a budget for tree work and maintenance and planting of at least $2 per capita of your
Of
city.
the population.
Okay, and that's
Which
the
could-
28,000 or what's the
So
number?
typically what
What is
what
the
I've seen
population?
in these cases is if the city does brush collection, all that time and some of
Yeah.
the manpower and the equipment is included in that. Tree plantings, of course, is included in that.
Yeah,
There's stump grinding, any type of tree maintenance that gets done, that's either done by the city employees or by city contracted employees.
Sure.
That would count towards that $2 per
Okay.
capita.
Like here's
do we ever have any problems meeting that budget?
It's usually not hard to do.
Okay,
Andrew has it all broken out. He has a whole list,
Oh,
everything. And
nice.
he has easy way to capture all this.
Nice.
Tree removal, tree pruning, tree inspection, and then it's lots of things.
yeah,
So he has that
Excellent.
worked out. He also encouraged us, he encouraged us to think about the progress report, or it's called
Of the growth?
the growth award.
The growth
yeah,
award.
which apparently we're
Right.
eligible for, and
What's
it could
the
be
growth
it could
award?
be a path. Well, that you've done certain. There's a long list of things that you need to that you can choose from. You have to get 10 points out of all these. I might have a list of it somewhere.
and then you get a special designation?
Yeah, you get a growth award, and it seemed to be it might be a pathway for some grants or some other things.
Nice.
And you have to get 10 points, and I just gave a quick look at some of the things. I think it wouldn't be too hard to find that we have done this thing. And I just want to say one more thing, and that is, if we could, remember to document and take pictures and things of the events as they unroll.
Yes.
I mean, even starting with giving away the trees at the mall, at the market.
At the market,
So
yeah.
that we have the application, I think, December, and what he said, Chris, I think.
Yeah, November.
Toward the
Yeah.
end. So we can,
So the application is due in November?
yeah, so we can
And so you
remember
and
to,
Chris will take the lead on this?
We're
Great.
doing it.
just remember to take the pictures.
Pictures.
Document
But
what
yep,
we're doing.
yep, we can do that.
Cool.
Yeah, and let me think if there's anything else. That was two
Yeah.
things.
Here.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew thought that we would be able to get the growth award. So we'll try for that
Yeah,
too.
I think it'd
So,
be pretty easy.
Can we get a copy of this year's application from Andrew, so that way we
Oh, we
sort
could
of know?
I've got one right here somewhere. That's not it, that's the,
Did you see the application?
Do you guys have a copy of the previous
it.
application?
that's it right there.
Oh, she's always
That's
got copies
it?
of things.
Oh, that's teeny.
Yeah.
It's not
The
that-
font's pretty small.
There might be a narrative somewhere that goes, no, I think that's it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's, yeah.
I think that's it.
Excellent.
There's attachments.
So it's basically filling the form,
And there's some
basically.
attachments like the proclamation and this collection of all the money that we've spent. There's 3 or 4 attachments.
Can you guys maybe go through it and then see if there are any red flags? And that way, we as a committee can maybe help you with those red flags?
And the first thing I noticed was remember to document, because once we get to November,
Exactly.
and we don't have
Yeah,
it,
well,
it's not
we
there.
need some pictures of the West States trees then,
Yep.
so.
Great. So, yeah, and if you have any, other programs or projects that are going on, if the dairy barn is doing a planting, we can go up there and help out and those sort of things. So, document. Great.
Soil and Water is doing, but I guess that's county, right?
We're part of the
But,
county.
yeah, but we're part of the county, so. I forgot when they do their tree giveaway is coming up really soon, isn't it? It's like,
I don't know.
Oh, usually, yeah.
I think it should be within the next week or two.
Yeah.
It's usually in the spring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what we have to
before
look
the
at.
plant sale. We get the plants, so.
I'm passing down a list of the qualified expenses, the type of things that we can include
Okay.
in what we've spent, if you want to have a look.
Okay. Maybe we can put some of the stuff on our website.
Yeah.
Do we have a website?
Yeah,
Okay.
on the city.
On the city thing?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So, any other discussion about the tree city? Okay. Just document. I think documenting is a really important thing that a lot of people don't think of, especially if you don't have a publicist.
Here's
city.
Did
city
you pass
needs some
down, this
PR
is the
people.
summary.
Oh,
Tree
that one.
management
summary?
That's part of the application, it's a narrative. It's really pretty.
So, okay. Any other questions on that? Cool. On to our agenda of opportunity for citizens to speak. Speak now. Okay. Any other questions or concerns for the good of the order? Okay. Then I think that we can stand adjourned. Thank you. Yay.